Yo yo yo, Vemtaz here, and today I'm going to show you guys, as you can see on the screen, Civilization 6. I'm going to show you how to start a game, the settings I usually pick when I start a game, and the kind of game you can expect to get from those settings. I won't go into all the details of all the different options and stuff. I mean, you can experiment with that on your own, but just to get into the game, and like your first game especially, to get a feel of it, I'll teach you here what I usually pick as my setup for my games. Let's go to single player, and I usually go to create game here, and it does take a little while to load the games, as you'll see. At least on my computer it does. I just do standard rules. There's other scenarios you can do if you're into that, but just for like a regular game. Then of course you got your civilization here you can pick. I'll talk a little bit about each leader. Well, a couple of them that I like to normally pick. I've beat the game with all of them. There's certain ones I usually like more than the others. I usually like playing naval games where you control the seas and everything. So the best one, not the best, I mean, but the one I like the most for it is Victoria. They get pretty good bonuses to their navies. They get the Royal Navy Dockyard also. They get the Sea Dog, which is pretty nice. You only get it for a small portion of the game though to take advantage of it. The Redcoats are really nice. They're pretty tough. The other thing I like about England that works really well, especially with the naval type game, let me get back to them, is see, all found or conquered cities on another continent other than your home continent receive a free melee unit. Gain the Redcoat unique unit when the military science technology is researched. So the first part of this, the Pax Britannica, you start a new city on another continent not of your own, and you'll get a spearman, or you'll get a pikeman, or whatever your military is at that time. The technology is up to, which is really nice because a lot of times if you send a settler over, maybe with an archer or whatever, start a new city on a continent with other cities, you're pretty easily going to be taken over unless you move military over. Whereas with them, you start a new city, you automatically will get a soldier in that city to protect it, which is cool. Also, if you conquer a city, you'll instantly get a unit in there to defend it for you too, which is pretty cool. So that's one of the things I like. The Royal Navy Dockyard is pretty cool. I really don't get into this one too much. Usually the culture games I play, I don't know, I always end up fighting everybody because everyone starts crap with me, and then I have, I can't let things go. I have to beat the crap out of them and punish them for attacking me. So that's the one I usually like to play if I want to dominate the seas. Other ones that are pretty fun, I'll play, like if I'm playing a big continental match with like everyone's close to each other, America's pretty good because you have this, back to there. As part as theirs, you see they have units receive 5 strength, combat strength on their home continent. So basically, if someone's on your own, you're fighting somebody on your own continent, you get a bonus to attack, which is really nice, especially when you're all on one continent. The Mustang, I really haven't got a lot of use out of it. The last game I played, I was building up military, but I beat him too quick, and I still didn't get a chance to test the AI. The Rough Riders are pretty nice too. They're pretty good units. Let me go back to countries here. Another one that's pretty fun, or that has a pretty good bonus, is let's see, where are they at? This is the newest one that came out in the last patch. They're pretty cool too. They have these nice archers that, yeah, those archers are really pretty powerful. I mean, you got a lot of movement out of them, which is really nice. You can send them out all over the map pretty quickly. Let's see. He's good versus city-states, versus attacking city-states, but, usually you don't want to attack the city-states. You kind of want them, trading with them, dealing with them, and having them be allies with you. Unless they have resources you want and need right away that you can take them out for. Then it makes sense. Gandhi's good for a religious victory if that's one of the things you want to go for. I've won it on like every kind of victory, culture, religion, science, all the different categories. Harold's pretty nice for Navy too, as you see. One of his things allows coastal rating for all naval melee units and 50% production towards all naval melee units, like destroyers, galleys, stuff like that. He's got a nice bonus for those. And you can see the other one, that NAR ability. Units gain the ability to enter the ocean tiles after researching shipbuilding technology. Naval units heal in neutral territory. Naval melee units. So that's kind of nice. It's an ability. Usually you have to get a bunch of promotions to get, but his melee units can start right off doing that. Let's see here. This is a unique one too. He can't start a religion, can't do anything with religion, but he benefits from like other religions that are in his city. So, and this one, the Nikishi, whatever it's called, Nakisi, that's actually very nice. I mean, I thought when I played him the first time, like, oh, this guy kind of sounds boring, but I mean, that's a really helpful ability there. I mean, that really helps move along that civilization. Let's see, Peter here. Okay, I don't think he's particularly powerful, but the thing with them is, I mean, they're not powerful, but like when you make a city with them, especially later in the game, you get so much territory. Like a normal city, say you get like 10 hexes, he gets like 15. Towards the end of the game, if you make a city when it's like you're advanced really far, I mean, you'll get like a 30 hex city. I mean, the territory is amazing with them. I mean, it's a really powerful. Qin Shi Huang, that's the Chinese emperor, first emperor. Yeah, and I know how it's pronounced because I'm from China. Yeah, I actually studied Chinese. I was over in China for about almost 6 years, and I won't get into his history, but he was basically the first emperor that unified China. He's responsible for unifying a language, the Great Wall. The cool thing about them is their Eurekas and inspirations, instead of being, I think it's 50%, yeah, it gives you 60%. And this is pretty cool too. When you're building the ancient and classical wonders, you can actually use the builder to move to that district and actually make him speed up the wonders. So usually it's a race of whoever's can make it the fastest, whoever's cities are built to make wonders faster, but he can actually use his builders to do that. And the builders are different than Civ 5 and the other ones. They're not just you set them out and they work. They have charges. So each charge you use takes care of that. This is a pretty nice unit too. It only has one range, which is kind of hard. Like when you're ever fighting, you need to get to battle and out of battle pretty quick, and that's the downside to this. But it's a very high damaged unit there. So it depends like which you want to play. I mean, they all have really good stuff. I mean, I haven't played one of them that I'm like, wow, I never want to play this again. They all have pretty good benefits. So what I'll probably do is here on the game that I'm going to play here, I'm just going to put all the victory conditions in and show you guys just, whatever. I'll let it do random, and hopefully it picks one that I like. I mean, like I said, there's not one that I don't like, but I'm not going to put the difficulty too high. Prince is fine. Game speed, here's what I changed. With this one, you can see prolonged. You don't want a marathon. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you want the game to last a long time and everything to be built really slow and plot out every move and have multiple turns to wait for your next move. I always do online. Online is double the speed. Quick is a little faster. That's standards normal. I like to get the game moving, get my stuff producing, get my technologies researched, let my enemies get stronger. I always do the online speed. Now here's where it depends on what kind of game you want to do. If you're playing like as America and you want the benefit of, fighting things on your continents, continents is a good thing. You start off with 1 or 2 civs on your continent. If they decide to attack you or if you want to take one of them out, you have a little bonus fighting. Barbarians also. Barbarians are actually pretty tough. The harder the difficulty, of course, the harder they are. So fighting them, if they're on your continent, you'll have a 5% bonus wherever you're at fighting barbarians right off the bat, which is pretty good. What I like to do is, I would recommend for like a newer player, I would do this one that's island plates. And what this does is it puts everybody on their own island basically. It could be a really, really small island. It could be an island that's the size of a continent, and you might be there with another civilization also. It just is random. I mean, sometimes you'll get really shafted by that, and sometimes you get a really nice little continent all to yourself that you get to colonize and everything, and then start off the game with a slight advantage. But this also prevents your neighbors from quickly coming in and just attacking you right away while you're learning the game, while you're trying to figure out what to build next, how the Civ 6 is different than Civ 5. And it gives you a chance to have a little buffer in between start to your first battle or first declared war against you. If you're new, it's probably going to happen. So this gives you a little time to set up or at least play the game for a little bit before you're jumped by your neighbors. So island plates, I'll start with that one also. Map size, I don't think it's like the other games where a huge map is extremely huge. I played on a huge map before on here, but I usually tend to do small or tiny anyway because I don't want it to be so spread out that it takes you 20 turns to get to a continent that you're going to attack. It's small or tiny. I usually do. So we'll do tiny on this demo here, and then you go to advanced setup, and here's where you can pick if you want specific enemies. So you want to add more enemies, you can do that. I'm just going to leave it random and play whoever we got. Now you come over here, standard rules, prints. Here's where you can change. Like if you want to start off at a higher technology. Say you're tired of building all the stuff, getting up to the airplanes or whatever civil or era that you want to get to. I'll start this one at era. It's game speed online. I still think that's the best. Now here's where you can if you don't like city states or you want more city states to add to the game, you can add or adjust that. Here's where like we did earlier, the map, tiny. Now resources, I always leave this as standard, but I mean if you really want it to where you're fighting over everything, you can put it to sparse. If you want it to where it's abundant, where everyone's got tons of resources, I like to leave it. I mean it's not sparse, but it's nice when everybody doesn't have everything, because then if somebody has cotton and you have cotton, they're not going to trade. They don't need it. So I like it to where they may have 4 resources, you may have 6 or 7, but they're pretty much almost all different. So they'll want some of yours, you want some of theirs. It opens up trade between civs, which if you're not trading, what's the point? So world age, I just leave standard. I mean you can adjust things. Balance probably would balance out the resources for each starting spot. I don't like that either, because a lot of times if you have something they need, they'll be trying to trade really hard to get that from you. And the same thing with you. If you need something and it's in another territory, it might provoke you to maybe take out a city-state or maybe attack one of your neighbors to get that city that has the resource you need, especially if they won't trade it to you, or if you just don't want to trade it and want to be violent, you can do that also. I don't mess with these ones either. Victory conditions, I always turn off score victory. I don't want the game to end when I'm getting into it because I got a certain score. Oh, you win because your score is high. I want it to be a solid victory, like either if I win by culture or domination or religious or science. And sometimes when I just want to fight, I want to just build up my military and end up fighting somebody, I'll just put it on strictly 1 so that the other enemies kind of focus on that too. If you leave all the conditions, sometimes they'll work on other things, and then it's a little, I don't know, the AI just seems a little not doesn't defend itself really well. It doesn't build towards that kind of a victory. It tries for others. So, but yeah, the harder difficulty you go up, the more tougher the barbarians will get. The enemies that you have will start off with more stuff. So starting on island plates gives you a little bit of a kind of buffer before you're attacked right away. Limit turn by game speed. I always turn this to, say the game will end at 2050. If you're having fun or you're like really competitive, why would you want the game to end just because a certain date came up? So I put no turn limit. I mean, you're going to end way before 2050 probably. I mean, maybe not at the first game. You can do no duplicate leaders. I do that. Allies share visibility. I share that too. Now, when I used to play Civ 5, a lot of times I have no barbarians, no tribal villages, and all that, and that's just what I would do. I didn't like them. In this, I actually like the barbarians because they seem to be, in Civ 5, they'd come only after you, it seemed. They didn't attack the other civs, they'd only bother you. In this game, they bother everybody. I mean, there's been times where I finally find a civilization, and I've got like 7-8 cities, and he may only have 2, and he's got barbarian camps all over the place, and that's why he can't advance, because they've captured his settlers. They've I mean, they get pretty strong, the barbarians, especially the harder difficulties you get. So it adds a good element to the game, I think, that it keeps them in check as well as it keeps you in check. It doesn't just suppress your growth, it suppresses everybody's. And if the computer doesn't make smart decisions, he'll lose a settler, or he'll lose main things that'll slow down his progress, which is, like I said, I think it's great for everything. Now, this is something they recently added. They added the save configuration and load configuration, which I thought, like in Civ 5, you could do that. You could set up all your specifications. You start your game. If you didn't like the map, then you would just start it over, restart the game, and it would just the RNG would just randomly generate another map and same conditions, same everything. But unless they've changed it recently, last time I did this, it just saves the one you generate. So it's just like getting in the game and saving it, and then starting to play. And then if you didn't like it, go back to the beginning and save again. So it doesn't seem to actually save the configuration, just saves whatever map it loads up. So I think they have the right idea, they just didn't program it right, or I don't know what they did. So hopefully they'll fix that in time, but right now that's what it seems to do. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start this. Well, I'll save the configuration and in case we have to do it. Okay, temp. We'll just call it temp. Alright, then we'll try to start the game here. And we're going to, on this tiny map, there's going to be 3 opponents. Now you could add more if you want it to be like, congested where like there's no, everyone's fighting for territory, you'd add some more civilizations in here. If you're just trying off and you want it to be like a one-on-one, then I'd suggest doing a dual map. I don't think you can take these out. You can only add to this one. And And if there's someone you really, really hate, or you want to try out, like, hey, I want to see what England's like, and you want to fight against them, you can add them as a enemy here too. But we'll just do it all random and start the game. Now this part takes a little while. It does take a little while to load, and we'll see who we are. Well, on my computers it takes a little longer, but your computers may load it faster.
From the first
Xinjiang, okay, not bad. I mean, like I said, none of them are bad. It's not like I ever get one and I'm like, oh, why is this guy? I hate this guy, but...
Taking his first upright steps.
Turn up the volume here.
Now begins your greatest quest. From this early cradle of civilization on towards the stars.
And now when you're playing against Xinjiang, China, anytime you build like a wonder, or he'll basically, he hates it. You know, like that's what's cool. Like the personalities with the different leaders. You'll see. I'll show you when I get in the game. You know, I'm gonna try to keep this video kind of short, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add parts to this. You know, this is the create the game video. I'll try not to keep it too long, and then what I'll do is once I get in, and I'll probably shortly stop the video and then make, you know, videos on the gameplay, like part 1, part 2, part 3, and go through different stages of the play. But a cool thing is, with them, they have like different personalities. Like if you're not exploring, like Alexander in the game, he'll be like, "Oh, thanks, leave the exploring to us." You know, basically like saying you're not doing a good job at exploring. And him with China, they want to make all the wonders. So if you're making wonders, they'll basically not at first like threaten you, but they kind of say to you like, hey, you know, leave the wonders to us. You can always come to China and visit them, you know, like they don't want you to compete against it. Or like Frederick, the German civilization. A lot of times if you are competing with them over a city-state, or it's a city-state they're planning to attack, they'll, you know, kind of say you're playing a dangerous game, you know, fighting over the civs, you know, city-states loyalty or whatever they call it, I don't know. But so it's kind of cool. Each one has like their own little personality, their own little agendas they have, even too, like what they want to get out of the game. Some of them, you know, if you're competing with culture, they'll say stuff, or they respect, you know, strong nations. You know, they'll say something if your navy's weak or your military's weak, they'll like kind of give you hints through like mocking you, kind of. So like the one game when I first started playing, you know, Gandhi, the guy who's a pacifist, I forget who I was playing, but even Gandhi even like sent me a message and said, you know, just because you have a military doesn't mean you have to use it. You know, you should have some kind of deterrence. You know, basically saying my military sucked, which is kind of funny coming from Gandhi. You know, the man of peace, and telling me I need to build a military because, you know, mine's terrible or it sucked. So that loaded pretty good. Okay, now as you can see, it's on islet plates. So this island can be very small, and I could be really put off in a crappy position. One of the differences from Civ 6 and Civ 5 is I can build my city right here. And as my borders expand into the water, then I can make a shipyard off the coast. In Civ 5 and the ones before that, you had to be on the coastal tile, or you could not make a ship, any ships at all. Basically, you'd have no ability to make navy or any kind of boats of any type. So with here, it's, you know, it's against a mountain. And now, if you're not sure, I'll show you. I'm going to teach in this video before I get into the gameplay much. I'm going to show you, since I'm showing up how to set up the game, I'm going to show some of the features here. Like you can go to lenses here and say I want to search by appeal to see which tiles are good to make a city. Now if you hover over with your mouse, it'll tell you, yes, this one has, you know, 4 breathtaking. It's like it's how good of a tile it is. You see it's 2 food on that one. 2 food on here. It's like a 3 charming. The one that we're on currently right now, it's not the best to start. It's not the worst to start, but again, I'm going to probably just build it right here because it's next to a river, it's next to a mountain, and it'll cover more space when I open it up here. Now if you wanted to see by, well, right now there's not enough of them really, so we'll just click off that, and we'll start our city here. Click on your settler, and boom, found city. Okay, and here's my warrior. You start off with the warrior. He's going to start exploring. It shows you he can move to there. Oh, wow, cool. I've never seen that before, actually, in all that I've played. That's a city-state, it looks like. They just have to settle, too. I thought they were just automatically in the game. Interesting. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to build... when I first started playing, I'd always make my monument first, and then I had like a pattern of what I'd do. Now, because I know this island's probably not going to be too big, I'm probably not going to make a scout. I'm going to instantly make a slinger. And the reason I do that is because the slingers can upgrade into archers. And one of the things that you get if you kill somebody with a slinger, it increases your... decreases your research time to make the archer, to research the archer. And now let me show you that too. With the research here, see all the beginning ones, well, almost all the beginning ones, they automatically give you, I mean, there's like here, astrology. If I find a natural wonder, this takes 9 turns right now, it'll drop it down to like maybe 6 turns. Okay, the first main ones here, pottery, mining, animal husbandry, they don't have anything that can increase them. So usually pick those ones first. I mean, and look what is near your city. We got, see, requires mining some rock here. So the first thing we'll do is mining. Okay. And you saw the one was also sailing. And it says right here, found a city on the coast. Now if I would have moved up one spot, made my city here, sailing would only take probably 3 turns also, just like these. So that's one way to increase those. So what I usually do is I build ones that don't have any kind of like little, I call them quests, to make them go faster. That's what I normally build first. Okay. And then, let's see, close that. It's also going to ask, see, the first one I can do is only is Code of Laws. This is your civics. Now your civics has a huge tree also. They also have mini quests too. Like, see, if I improve 3 tiles, then I get a boost to this. And with China, they get a 60%, not 50% boost, like most people. And then you can see each one, you know, each city becomes 6 population, it gets to boost to this. If you found a pantheon, if you clear a barbarian post. So you have little like missions basically you can try to do. You don't have to do them, but it'll speed up your research or your civics. So you can see like here, see, like I told you, kill a unit with a slinger. I made the slinger, so if I kill somebody with a slinger, like a barbarian, this will get to where I don't have to spend as much time on research. If I farm a resource, I can research irrigation faster. See, found a city on the coast, then I can do sailing quicker. Find a natural wonder, astrology. You know, they basically give you little things to work on or try. I mean, some of them you can't really work on. You can't just discover a wonder if there's not one near you. If there is, then you get lucky, kind of. Kill 3 barbarians. You can kind of work at that one. Mine a resource. I'm going to mine that stone right away, which is going to help research wheel faster. If I build a quarry, that's going to help my masonry go faster. So there's all kinds of little things which are cool. I mean, it gives you something to work on and kind of keeps the game interesting. So we move this guy. We're just going to hit next turn, and I'll show you these in a second here. See, so that's where I guess they're set up right there. That's pretty cool. I never seen that before. So we'll send him down this way exploring. And this could be a very small island, or it could be that this turns into a big continent, like top of an island. And you can see here too, another border here. That's probably another city-state. So it looks like I'm close to 2 city-states already. So go next turn. And this is a luxury resource. This is a luxury resource. This is a luxury resource, which means you can trade these to other players. Now these ones here are bonus. They just add more food or more whatever they are to your civilization. Usually it's food. Like it'll be oranges, it'll be bananas, and no, I think oranges is a luxury resource. So we're gonna send him down here and keep exploring. Crabs is also a bonus resource. It's not a tradable thing. I think it was tradable in the Civ 5, but in here it's not.
Who deserves more credit than the wife of a coal miner?
So now that we got mining done, it tells us the things we can do with mining. We can build a quarry, we can mine, and then it also, if you see here with the little star thingy, allows chopping woods and harvesting of copper. So copper is another luxury or a bonus resource. Now when you chop down woods, I don't know if you've played Civ 5, like if I make a worker here and I send him over here, he can chop these trees down because I've researched mining, and that'll actually boost my production. It does damage the earth a little bit, so if you're always cutting down your trees in all your cities, eventually other civilizations will, or denounce you for destroying the world and, destroying the earth, things like that. But later on, as you get your research going, you can also replant trees to, be eco-friendly and everything. So we'll do a little bit more here. I don't want to waste too much time here and make this too long of a segment here. And I'll probably turn it into the next video until part 1 of the gameplay. So, we'll stop it here. I don't want to keep this too long. I'll make it like a series together. And so, watch the next series. I'll try to keep them all together and enjoy watching it.